But you wouldn't feel comfortable indicating anything other than what, from your experience, sort of meets your individual, unique kind of experiential test. Would that be correct?
That's correct.
And if I ask you about a whole line of products from your experience, you can express opinions about them as well as this.
Absolutely.
That's all. Thank you.
All right. The witness, like any of the other experts that have been called, has superior knowledge to the court in this area. I'm really a newcomer in this area, and I don't think it's the sort of thing that a layperson commonly knows about, so I'll allow opinion testimony in the area of multi-level marketing and product development.
May I proceed?
You may.
Yes. Mr. Sheffield, is this your resume, your curriculum vitae in the industry?
Yes, it is.
Your Honor, we would offer Exhibit 27.
All right. So admit it.
Mr. Sheffield, were you asked to be an expert witness by the defense in the Gold Unlimited case?
Yes, I was.
And did you turn that down?
I refused that.
Thank you. Mr. Sheffield, prior to your engagement as an expert witness in this case, did you have any prior relationship with TravelMax?
No, sir.
Did you ever sell them anything?
No, sir.
Have any financial interest?
No, sir.
Act as a distributor?
No.
Has anything changed? Do you have any type of a relationship other than that as an independent expert witness?
No other relationship.
Mr. Sheffield, when were you contacted to be an expert witness in this case?
I think it was September, October.
Sometime after the temporary restraining order was entered?
Yes, sir.
Our office called you. Were you given information? What were you given information concerning this case?
Yes, I was.
What were you given?
I was given copies of the materials from the AG's office against the company. I was given some transcripts of some meetings. And then I was shipped some materials from TravelMax itself, their various materials on the desk over here.
Okay. Did you receive a copy of the pertinent statutes, Kentucky Pyramid Statute, Business Opportunity Statute?
Yes, I did.
Did you receive a copy of the Dare to Be Great case?
Yes.
Okay. And these are all things that you then reviewed?
Yes.
Okay. And what were your marching orders? What was your instruction when you were brought on as an expert witness? What was your mandate?
Basically, to review the materials that were sent to me from the AG's office and from and the other materials from Kentucky, to review all the materials of TravelMax and to make a determination as to whether they were appropriate or not in this industry. And then I was asked to visit the company in the Newport Beach office in California, to visit with various corporate heads and to make observations about the company's legitimacy as a business.
Okay. Did you tell me about your visit to the company headquarters?
I was impressed, of course, when I went there. They have a very nice building. Immediately I saw they were serious about their business. I found what appeared to be several hundred employees working in various departments. I went to each of the corporate heads that were available that particular day and had a visit with them regarding what they did and their insight into TravelMax and where they were headed, their vision and so forth, so I could gain some kind of understanding as to what these people were all about and where they, what they believed in and what they were planning on doing in the future. I visited the travel department and observed the active in-house travel agents in operation. I talked to a person in charge of those agents and questioned them regarding how they handled the distributors' customers who would call in, and how they would make sure that this personal identification number was tracked to the independent distributor that actually referred them, because that was a part of the integrity of the whole situation. I visited their international department where the people spoke various languages to deal with customers who couldn't speak English. I visited their group travel office and talked to the people who were involved in group travel and asked a number of questions regarding how an independent distributor could participate in selling group travel. I visited their customer service department and shipping areas, and their computer department.
What did you see in their computer department? What sort of infrastructure did you see?
An elaborate computer system and an ever-growing computer software development, which is typical of a company in a growth mode like TravelMax seemed to be. There was continually programmers there developing new and improved software and adding of new hardware.
Mr. Sheffield, have you worked with other travel companies in the direct selling industry?
Yes, I have.
And how would you compare this company in terms of being a travel company, a travel products-oriented company?
I'm sorry, please, the question again, please.
How would you, if I were to ask you to compare or interface this company with other travel companies in the
He's
local
being asked to
industry?
give an expert opinion about an industry-wide market survey that he's not done. I mean, he's casually traveled around maybe, but I mean, this is not, I mean, in order to express an expert opinion here, there has to be more foundation than that he drove around and.
Your Honor, counsel wasn't listening to my question. First, the witness was asked, are you familiar, have you worked with other travel companies in the multi-level marketing industry? The answer was yes. The next question was, how would this company compare as a travel company with other companies
In the multi-level
Yeah.
marketing area, not just other companies in the entire industry.
Right. This
He may answer
is
that.
his expertise, is multi-level marketing.
On the surface, they would compare in a similar fashion in the type of materials that would be offered. The fact that distributors were offered an opportunity to become independent travel agents, outside travel agents, and to sell travel. In most cases, there was some form of an educational tutorial. From that standpoint, they looked very similar. The difference had to do more with the magnitude of the success that TravelMax had been experiencing. And this success, I have my own reasons why I think they have been successful as they have been. And I think it's around the point of them being able to take advantage of the technologies that are available today that others really were not as involved in, which can cause dramatically increased ability to get market penetration.
Well, from the standpoint of your expertise as a management consultant in the MLM industry, taking a company that has built itself up to $5 million travel bookings in a year and a half, would you call that a success, a successful multi-level marketing company?
Absolutely, very much so.
And why?
The average company in America today, their first year probably would do $1.5 to $2 million, maybe. Their second year, maybe 6 to 8. A good company, 10. This is a company that was exceeding that in their second year.
Is a company that is, would you call this a company that is serious about multi-level marketing?
Absolutely.
How would you characterize their management team?
Very professional. Some from the multi-level marketing industry where it counted. Others from a background in traditional business with credentials that I was impressed with.
There was some discussion with Dr. Keep yesterday about average productivity per distributor in the industry of about $1,000. Is that a fair estimate?
I'd say that's pretty fair, yes.
And based on TravelMax's number, those per capita averages are exceeded. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What does that tell you about the goals, strategies, and mission statement of this company?
They put together a good program for their distributors to actually make the money that others promise and maybe don't deliver.
You had an opportunity to review the. You obviously had an opportunity to review the travel agency side of it. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you saw the numbers of inside travel agents doing bookings, et cetera. Were you impressed with that infrastructure?
Yes, sir, I was.
Okay. Was that impressive compared to other MLM travel agency or travel-related product companies?
Yes, sir.
The products that they have, their travel tutorial, is that an impressive product?
Of the ones that I've looked at and studied, it's the best I've seen.
Okay. And that VIP package, you're a product expert. That's what you do for a living, is place product, advise people on what's appropriate product. That VIP package, is that a viable and good product for this industry?
Absolutely.
And those products as priced, are they fairly priced for the marketplace?
That's pretty much the mark.
Again, unless he's done a complete market survey to express that opinion, I mean, it sounds like all he's done is just sort of casual observation. I mean,
This man, Your Honor, this is Mr. Product in the MLM industry. There is nobody that knows more about appropriateness of product pricing in the industry. That's what this man does for a living.
then he ought to publish something that we could read and peer review and test.
Well, you
I mean,
haven't-
this is his sole individual subjective
That's a
observation. Judge.
misrepresentation of the qualifications.
Let me ask this, why do you believe that it's fairly priced?
Every product seeks a level that is fair and that people are willing to pay. If the price had been $200 and that's all the value people saw, then the rest of the competition would follow suit and that would be the price. These type of products have found the market through non-multi-level, some cases in the $1,000 to $2,500 range, but through network marketing, have found a price range of approximately $450 to $495. That has become the competitive pricing strategy within this industry. Anyone who priced it more than that within multi-level would be considered overpriced. Anyone who priced it less than that would not be able to compete in the marketplace as a competitor of TravelMax or the other company offering a similar product. But they couldn't offer the commission opportunity nor the support system necessary to properly support this kind of program.
So you think it's standing on its own, it's worth that amount of money?
That's correct, I do. In the same way that when I sold educational courses, we sold courses in TV repair and auto mechanics. You know, people bought the courses because they were interested in improving themselves, and if the products were fairly priced, the people would make a purchase. If they didn't, the salesman would starve.
And I understand that, but you understand my difficulty is I have to make a determination in a part of this case about these products, and it's hard to do because fair market value is what a willing buyer and a willing seller would pay and accept without any compulsion to do so one way or another. You throw in an added incentive here that if you buy this and you get somebody else to buy this and become it, then you can get additional income. It sort of makes it difficult to determine what it by itself is worth on a fair market value. And you're saying you can separate the two, and this is worth $450 to $495 on its own.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and Mr. Sheffield, you're aware that, I mean, that product, that tutorial, outside of the multi-level arena, we've already had evidence in the Robb Report, Wall Street Journal, et cetera, that type of product sells for that much or higher, irrespective of a multi-level commission involved.
Yes, sir.
Would that tend to give you a further affirmation that your conclusion is correct, that the product is properly priced?
Yes, I think that's the market value.
At this point in time, Mr. Sheffield, would you characterize this company and its orientation as a travel products company? Is that,
That's correct.
are you familiar with any other products that the company has or that are in its horizon?
Well, yes, they have, as all companies that are successful, they're in the process of product line extension, and in the time that I spent there, I determined that they were adding a number of new products that should be considered quite exciting to the distributors.
Would you say it's a product-driven company?
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
You may.
Mr. Sheffield, I'm handing you Exhibit 14. Could you identify this exhibit?
It's a magazine called True North that is a quarterly magazine put out by the TravelMax Corporation. This is the fall edition of 1996.
Okay. Mr. Sheffield, this is the company's quarterly magazine for its distributors?
Yes, sir.
Okay. You've had an opportunity to review this?
Yes, I have.
And the fair to say, as you look through it, basically what it's about is telling people about travel and and a career in travel.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Nothing in there about buying tri-packs, front-loading people. Is that correct?
I didn't see that.
Nothing in there about hyped earnings, hypothetical presentations. You see that?
No,
It's actually a pretty professional publication, wouldn't you say?
it's very nice.
It's the message the company gets out to its distributors. Is that correct? What message about this company can you draw from this publication about what this company is about?
Well, obviously, they're a travel company, and they're serious about travel, and they're serious about supporting and educating and communicating with their distributors.
There's a statement, Mr. Sheffield, in the Dare to Be Great case. Court said, you read that, did you not?
Yes, I did.
You're familiar. We understand you didn't belong to Dare to Be Great. You didn't dupe any people. There's a statement in that case, and I assume, Mr. Sheffield, you would contrast, well, let's say we had a continuum here, because we all agree that, you agree that sometimes it's hard to tell a pyramid from a legitimate multi-level marketing company?
Could be, yes.
Now, of course, back in the days of Dare to Be Great, there was no pyramid statute in Kentucky, so we just were talking about a deceptive trade practice statute. Is that correct?
Your Honor, I've allowed an awful lot of leading, but now he's testifying about
Yeah.
Dare to Be Great cases.
Where are we going to go with this?
I want to talk about factors where, we'll talk about it just from the business standpoint, Your Honor.
Yeah.
Because I
And
think
he's-
in the business community, we can also talk about pyramid versus legitimate business.
He's going to be given a legal opinion about the Dare to Be Great case. He's not a lawyer.
I think he's just borrowing
Besides
those-
which, there's a lot of too much leading going on.
Well, I agree with that. I wasn't going to stop it unless you had an objection to it, because I was sort of hoping it was speeding things along. How much more direct do you have with this
I'd
witness?
say about 15 minutes.
All right, proceed.
Okay. So if we had a continuum here, you'd agree that sometimes it is difficult to tell the difference between a pyramid and what you in the multi-level business community would regard as a legitimate company. Is that correct?
Sure.
And somewhere there's a line here, and would you agree on this continuum that Dare to Be Great, they're at one end of the continuum? What was the problems? What are some of the factors that you saw that would label them, from a business standpoint, a pyramid rather than a multi-level marketing company?
Well, there was a required investment of, I think it was approximately $1,000 for a package of motivational material that served no purpose afterward to help them create additional income other than maybe the motivation to sell somebody else to do the same. So it was a product that probably was not positioned properly in that particular business.
Okay. And from what you know about Gold Unlimited, would you say that also is on this end of the continuum.
Yes.
I think we had substantial testimony. That's basically a Ponzi scheme. Okay. And then at this end, just for the sake of example, let's give kudos to Amway and Shackley and hope that nobody's going to be going after them. From your standpoint in the industry, are they at the other end of the spectrum?
Yes.
What are some of the factors that you would look at? Well, in TravelMax, what are some of the factors you might look at that TravelMax would have in common with companies such as, of course, Amway is shaped like a pyramid. Wouldn't you agree? The compensation plan?
If you lay the structure out, yes, it would look that way.
Probably isn't, there isn't a direct selling company, member of the DSA, Direct Selling Association, that isn't shaped like a pyramid. Would you agree?
Correct.
Government shaped like a pyramid. So what would be some of the factors that a company such as TravelMax would have in common with a company such as Amway?
Well, first they would have policies and procedures that laid guidelines for the distributor as to what they could and couldn't do. They would have an enforcement division that would enforce any violations of those policies and procedures, rules and regulations.
Well, as long as you mentioned that, we had introduced an exhibit, a compliance report that was prepared by the company. You saw that compliance report.
Yes, I did.
It's been introduced and accepted as an exhibit. What does that tell you about this company?
They're taking care of business. They're doing what needs to be done to deal with issues that could get out of hand.
Not unusual for distributors to sometimes go a little too far in a presentation?
No, not unusual, especially in a company that's growing very rapidly.
Did you find in the TravelMax materials any earnings misrepresentations?
No,
Any earnings income hypotheticals?
no.
If you had been advising or consulting with this company, and you were aware of their compliance department, what would you have expected this company to have done if the state of Kentucky had brought to its attention some of the problems that have been raised here today about distributor presentations?
I think the policies and procedures have a strategy for that, which is to make contact with the independent distributors to determine if they have stepped out of line and to reprimand them, or if they've gone way overboard, to terminate their distributor agreement.
You think we could have avoided this entire proceeding if this company had been contacted?
Almost everything that I see that transpires here today, on anything that's been brought up, has been due to lack of communication.
Did you see in this company's classic industry 70% rule?
Yes,
Buyback policy?
yes,
Prohibition on earnings misrepresentations?
right.
These were factors, or many of these factors, a product that got used by the end user. Of course, we know now that now we have a Kentucky statute which specifically, you're aware, it specifically recognizes and exempts purchases for personal use by distributors.
Yes.
Now, is that consistent with how things work in the industry? That is, people are given recognition for a product in terms of commissions for products which are purchased for personal or actual use by the distributor, such as
Absolutely.
this.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Would you say actually that Kentucky statute is probably one of the most liberal in the country regarding recognition of personal use?
Your Honor, just give me a continuing objection to this
Sustained.
excessive leading, but if it's going to move things along,
Okay. So basically, Mr. Sheffield, on this continuum, would you say that there was very little that TravelMax had in common with this end of the continuum?
Very low.
Would you say TravelMax belongs on this side of the fence?
Yes, sir, I
As
do.
far as, okay. Mr. Sheffield, there has been some concern today here regarding how you, what your obligations are when you join a company such as TravelMax. Is it your understanding that the only requirement to be a TravelMax distributor is the purchase of an at-cost sales kit for $25?
It states that on their distributor application, also in their policies and procedures.
Now, did you have any trouble, as you reviewed their materials, discerning that no product purchase is required for this company, other than the purchase of an at-cost sales kit?
That was very clear that no purchase requirements were required.
Now, the state has registered some concern, Mr. Sheffield, about the fact that individuals, and can an individual join TravelMax and merely be an order taker as opposed to have to buy product for resale? Are there alternative ways of working your way up and qualifying in the TravelMax program?
It's clearly stated in the material there are 3 ways, one of which is they can be an order taker.
Now, the state, Mr. Sheffield, has registered some concern that when a TravelMax distributor joins, he or she is offered the opportunity to buy some products. Some of the product purchases may exceed $400, $500, $1,000. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I did want you to be able to look at this exhibit while I...
Exhibit are you on?
This is Exhibit 17. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
You may.
Defendant?
Now,
That one.
I'm showing you what has been marked and accepted as Exhibit 17, which is basically a document telling you various ways to begin your Mary Kay career. Mary Kay is a recognized, legitimate, multi-level marketing company. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Actually, it has a lot in common with TravelMax, wouldn't you agree?
A number of factors.
A lot more in common with TravelMax than TravelMax has with the Dare to Be Great. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay. But the state has registered some concern that when you get into a multi-level marketing company, merely by offering a distributor the opportunity to buy product and to advance in the program, that perhaps that in some way makes the company either a business opportunity or a pyramid scheme. Now, the reason I say that, Mr. Sheffield, is I have in front of you the Mary Kay program, various ways to begin. Would you read under option number 1, this is, I assume this is, would you say this is for the new Mary Kay lady?
Yes.
Or man?
Probably not.
Above option number 1, what does it say? Or below it, what does it say?
From experience, we have found that a consultant who begins with an initial wholesale order of at least $600 is the consultant who does the best.
Okay. You mean the company is recommending to a new Mary Kay distributor that it would not be a bad idea for you to do a $600 order? That's their number 1 option, is that correct?
That's correct.
Of course, that's one of a number of cascading options that go to substantial levels.
Your Honor, the document speaks for itself.
I agree. It speaks for itself. Sustained.
So it's not unusual, would you say, in the industry, Mr. Sheffield, for companies to offer various package options to new distributors when they join.